Hi everyone, Radhe Radhe. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. This is amazing. This is probably the best verse in the entire Gita for me. I love it so far, anyways. Oh my goodness, okay. So he's talking, Bhagwan Shri Krishna is talking about feminine qualities and he's talking about intelligence as being one of them. Okay, I can't wait to. Oh, excuse me. um yeah, so and there is another huge thing that has happened. 932 has been cleared for me. For those who have been following me, they'll be like, whoa, what happened there? And I will be, I am very very eager to tell you, especially on this verse, that 932 has been cleared for me. Okay, completely cleared for me, I think. I mean, this is like, I feel so good about it. Okay, so let us sing this verse together. I'll go on this verse first, and then I'll talk about 932 for those who want to stay on and listen to how it got cleared for me. Okay, so let's sing the verse together. Mrityuh sarvaharashchaham udbhavascha bhaveshyatam kirtihi shrirvakcha narinam smritirmedha dhritihi kshama. Okay. I am all devouring death. I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Now, here he says kshama. Kshama in Hindi means forgiveness. So, and that's how Swami Mukundanand has also translated it as. So, I'm going to go with forgiveness because it just makes it feels right to me based on Hindi, what I know about Hindi. But anyways, amongst women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Okay, so Krishna does love women, and he does think that all of these things, including memory, intelligence, steadfastness, patience, fine speech, fame, fortune, all of these are, I mean, of course, Lakshmi is the goddess of fortune. So all of these are amongst women. These are considered, I mean, feminine. Okay, so I am all devouring death. As soon as a man is born, he dies at every moment. So I am death. Last stroke is death. For future development, all entities undergo. Yeah, okay. Um, the seven opulences listed are considered feminine. If a person possesses all of them or some of them, he becomes glorious. If a man is famous as a righteous man, that makes him glorious. Sanskrit is a perfect language and therefore glorious. Yeah, Sanskrit is really good, I agree. If I would love to learn Sanskrit. If after studying one can remember a subject matter, he has a good memory, intelligence, medha, dhriti, and patience or kshama, forgiveness. Okay, so he talks here about yeah, death, of course, and then certain qualities are seen as adornments and other praiseworthy. So in men, in these are virtues that make women glorious. Okay, so besides this, now he talks about Prajapati Daksha had 24 daughters. Five were considered best of women: Kirti, Smriti, Medha, Dhriti, and Kshama. These are the words that he's used: Kirti, Smriti, Medha, Dhriti, Kshama. So, um, Shri was the daughter of sage Bhrigu, Vak was the daughter of Brahma. These seven women are the presiding deities of the seven qualities mentioned in these verse. So he's talked about Shri and Vak also here. So Shri and Vak. So that makes it all seven. And all these seven were basically people. They were women, actual women that embodied these qualities, and in accordance with their respective names, they are presiding deities of the seven qualities mentioned in these verses. In this verse, I love it. Therefore, Bhagwan Shri Krishna lists them as his vibhutis. Okay, now 932. What I was talking to Urmila Mataji. Her name is Urmila Edith Best, and she has a lot of lectures also in the ISKCON world. If you go to iskondesiretree.com, you'll see a lot of her lectures. And I crazy. She's come to Seattle once before, and she gave a lecture here, which was amazing because she went through this basically a lot of chapter 10, saying that I am the light and the sun, the moon and the fire. I am this, I am that. Like so, basically every time you, and she asked at the end, what can you contemplate on? So just look look outside and whatever you see, think of Krishna. Use that as a trigger point to think of Krishna. For me, one of the biggest trigger points is when I see dark clouds at night, and just like dusk time or something, when I'm seeing dark clouds, they look beautiful, and I'm like, this is how Krishna looks. Because earlier I didn't understand, I wouldn't understand how can dark or black be beautiful, and then when I see those clouds, I understand how dark and black can be that beautiful, that like just yeah. So yeah, she talked about all of that. So I was talking to her, I asked her this question, and she helped me a lot. What she said is that the woman body is so it's, first of all, it's not a it's a gradation. It's not a black and white that women are sinful, and it's like a more sinful rather than sinful itself. So more sinful birth means, or more lower birth, that's how Prabhupada translates it, but more sinful papa yunaha, more sinful birth, means that you have done more sinful karma in the past life in order to be getting a birth as a woman, because women have it harder than men do. Because of all of the things that women have to go through, the menses every month, the childbirth, the feeding afterwards, the menopause afterwards, and then this is continuous. This process is continuous because we didn't have birth control until recently. So this process was pretty much from the time you were 16 or something till the time you were 45 or 50 or something. Women were continuously giving birth and continuously having children. So, and the whole process of having children. So I asked her, isn't it more important for a person to have children, like the way society is raised? Hasn't Krishna given the more important role to women? What is more important? Having kids, raising them to be good kids, or building buildings? What are men doing? They're building buildings. They're bringing home food. They're building buildings. They're making money. What's more important? Raising kids or building buildings? So she said, I agree. Totally. I agree that raising kids is way more important than building buildings. It's just that women have a harder time doing it. It's more labor work, right? It's difficult work. It's painful work. The menses itself every month are painful. And then childbirth and feeding and all of that it's painful. Menopause can be very painful for people. So all of that is just it, because you have to go through so much more pain. The way you get to a woman's body is if you have done worse things in the past life than if you've done more sin in the past life in order to get a body which is doing very important things, but it is a more difficult thing to do. And so that way it is so she was talking about, like, research scientist versus a plumber. A plumber does the more important thing. I mean, you can live without research scientists in the world, but you can't live without plumbers, I mean, or whatever, farmers, right? But the research scientist is considered more uh, like, even though the farmer is more important, doing more important work, it's more labor work, right? So it's more like shudra work, or some at least men. So the shudras are necessary in the thing, but it is more labor work, it is more difficult work, it is more painful work. So you have to, so to get to that birth, you have to have had more sinful activities in the past life. So this, it does not mean that women are sinful, right? Women, that's how I was taking it. And I was like, how can Bhagwan Shri Krishna think that? I don't think women are sinful at all. I think men are way more sinful. If we take examples of, like, how much men want to just have casual relationships versus how, let's like, I was giving this example, let's go to any part of the world, any age group, anywhere, and see how many men, let's take 10 men and 10 women and ask them how many men want to have what kind of relationships they want to have. Men will more likely say that they want to have casual relationships, sleep around. Women will more likely say they want to have family and marriages. So it's like, which one is more base? Which one is more animalistic, right? How can women be more sinful? So what she is saying is, it's not that. It's not that women are more sinful. In like, it's not. And I agree. And she said as well that if she had to take, she doesn't want to take another birth, but if she had to take a birth, she would prefer to take a birth as a woman, because it's easier to attain Krishna as a woman. Because two things: one is that men have this they have to go through a lot in order to control their sexuality, and women don't have to go through so much. Women usually need a lot more from a man in order to be attracted to the man. They don't just look at the man and they're like, okay, that's it, they need to know that he's like sensible and able to take care of things and whatever. They have a lot higher criteria. Men just need to look at a woman, a pretty woman, and they're like, okay, whatever, that's it. So it's harder for them to control their sexuality. It's harder for them to attain Krishna because they're wired like that. And the second is they have a much bigger ego. Like they have to have an ego so that they can go fend for their families, so that they can provide for their families. But they have to they do, and it's harder. And like, you women are much more naturally much more have humility, and much more naturally have love. In yeah, and they will surrender to their husbands even, right? I mean, it's easier for them to surrender to Krishna. It's easier for them to have humility. It's easier for them. They're closer to love. They're more emotional, but it's like emotional in terms of material stuff or emotional in terms of spiritual stuff. Like, it's, you can just redirect that emotions to its spiritual stuff, and that's it. You're golden. So yeah, it was just really, really, really helpful and clear to me, and I am so grateful. My entire, like, everything in this, after reading this verses especially, everything that all the blocks that I have around Krishna are gone. I still have blocks around Prabhupada. She helped me soften around him as well a little bit, but yeah, I still have blocks around him. But like around Krishna, it's just all gone. So I'm so immensely, 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 immensely grateful to have had her. Help with this. Okay, so that's it for this verse. We'll do chapter 10, verse 35 in the next video, and wish you a day filled with lots of spiritual breakthroughs and lots of connection with Bhagwan Shri Krishna and Radha Rani. Radhe Radhe.